Thanks for joining me, Dom of Essential RC, on this trip around some of the fantastic highlights you can see in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I'm running this new amazing simulator on a very high spec gaming PC, so what you are seeing is ultra level graphics. And we're starting off in London. We've just flown over the Thames Barrier, and coming up on the left as we fly over the Thames is the Millennium Dome. As we turn left around the Millennium Dome, we've got Canary Wharf off to our right. Canary Wharf is the secondary central business district of London on the Isle of Dogs. Along with the City of London, it is one of the main financial centres of the UK and the world, containing many of the tallest buildings, including the third tallest in the world, One Canada Square. Again, trying to stick to the Thames in our Cessna citation. Then we are coming down low over the Thames again, then coming up to Tower Bridge. Just beyond Tower Bridge you can see HMS Belfast, and on our left again is the Shard. You can see the Post Office Tower in the distance. Just coming up on our left into view is the Eye, this amazing Ferris wheel that you can take a trip on, and the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben on our right. Now that looks fantastic during the day, but how about at night? So here we are high up over London, and again you can see the Thames on the right and the Shard. But again, let's get down low and go up the Thames to see some of these sights again. So we're coming up the other way, up the Thames now. Just coming into view is the Eye, Houses of Parliament and Big Ben on the left. The Eye all lit up in red. The Shard on the right, and Canary Wharf coming up on the left. HMS Belfast on the right, and we're going to fly through Tower Bridge again. But that's enough of London. Let's leave this and move on to our next destination. Somewhere a bit warmer for our second destination, and we're in Egypt, just overflying Cairo, and you can see the unmistakable shape of the pyramids in front of us. And of course, before we get to the pyramids, we can see the Sphinx. So let's do a low flyby of the Sphinx in this bush plane. So realistic, I have to say. Throttling up, climb up to the top of these pyramids. You'd almost think that this pyramid to the left is capped in gold. Wouldn't mind a few bars from the top there, but probably quite difficult to land on top of the pyramid. Moving on to our third destination. So our next destination is the small airport of Lukla, which is where you would need to fly into if you want to get to Everest base camp. Unusually, this has quite a steep runway, showing this on the external view in the Cessna citation, and just get off the deck before the end of the runway. But this wouldn't be fun unless you tried to land in the opposite direction. So let's take a short way out to the valley and then turn around and come back, and we're going to try and make a safe approach into Lukla. Quite not easy in a twin jet powered aircraft, staying just on the verge of stall and just down. The question is whether we can brake before the end of the runway. The steep hill is helping, but not quite enough, and I think that would have resulted in a bit of a severe crash, but fortunately in the simulator you can turn off crashes, but we're on the ground. Moving on to our next destination. The magnificent sight of Ayres Rock in front of us. Ayres Rock is actually formerly known as Urulu and is one of Australia's most recognisable natural landmarks. The sandstone formation stands 348 metres high, rising 863 metres above sea level, with most of its bulk lying underground, and has a total perimeter of 9.4 kilometres. Both Urulu and nearby Kata Uta formation have great cultural significance for the Anangu people, the traditional inhabitants of the area, who lead walking tours to inform visitors about the local flora and fauna, bush food, and the Aboriginal Dreamtime stories of the area. Looks beautiful during the day, but let's change the time to sunsets and come back in the opposite direction. Just amazing the way the sunlight captures the outline of Ayres Rock. Let's move on to our next destination. Another very famous landmark. We are visiting Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a group of 3 waterfalls at the southern end of Niagara Gorge, spanning the border between the province of Ontario in Canada and the state of New York in the US. The largest of the 3 is Horseshoe Falls, also known as Canadian Falls, which straddles the international border of the 2 countries. The smaller American Falls and Bridal Veil Falls lie within the US. Bridal Veil Falls are separated from Horseshoe Falls by Goat Island, from American Falls by Loon Island, with both islands situated in New York. It's like a viewing platform on the left, and the falls, which are nicely rendered here, although not moving. It's a stationary graphic. I guess that's the most you can expect. And the graphics for the far end of the falls are a little disappointing compared to that, but no matter. At least we can say we've been to Niagara. Let's move on to our next destination. Back to some warmer climes, and now we're in India, and specifically to see one of the most amazing sights in India. This is the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, or Crown of the Palace, is an ivory white marble mausoleum on the southern bank of the river Yamuna in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, who reigned from 1628 to 1658, to the house of the tomb of his favourite wife Mumtaz Mahal. It also houses the tomb of Shah Jahan himself. The tomb is the centrepiece of a 17-hectare or 42-acre complex, which includes a mosque and a guest house, and is set in formal gardens bounded on 3 sides by a crenellated wall. We're in Rio de Janeiro, and this is the Christ the Redeemer statue overlooking the city. This Art Deco statue was created by French sculptor Paul Landowski and built by Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa in collaboration with French engineer Albert Carco, Romanian sculptor George Leonida fashioned the face. Constructed between 1922 and 1931, the statue is 30 metres high, excluding its 8-metre pedestal. The arms stretch 28 metres wide. The statue weighs 635 metric tons and is located at the peak of the 700-metre high Corcovado mountain in the Tijuca Forest National Park. A symbol of Christianity across the world, the statue has also become a cultural icon of both Rio de Janeiro and Brazil, and is listed as one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It is made of reinforced concrete and soapstone. Next destination coming up, this is the Grand Canyon. Let's dive down into the canyon. Did you know that the Grand Canyon is 277 miles in length at its widest point? The Grand Canyon stretches 18 miles across. At its narrowest point, it stretches 4 miles across. The Grand Canyon is around 6,000 feet deep. fantastic, this bush plane, for rapid descents, climbs and getting in and out of tight spaces. Not something I'd probably want to fly in real life, because I really have an aversion to flying in heights. Epic scenery, and rendered really nicely in this simulator. And you can see some of the other nice effects you get in ultra graphics, like reflections in the windows, even showing that the windows get dirty, but the reflections are quite amazing and make it really realistic. And you can see the scratches on the glass and everything that you would see as if you were in the full-size aircraft. Moving on to our final destination, and we're in the 787 Dreamliner, and probably in Microsoft Flight Simulator this is my favourite destination. So we are in New York, and diving down over Central Park.
2500.
And we're going to take advantage of some of the great external views of the aircraft in the simulator. You can go to the belly view, so you can see the buildings down below. Empire State Building down to the left. Of course, if you come to New York, there's one must-see famous landmark. And that's the Statue of Liberty. So let's finish our trip over the city and then dive down to the right, and you can see Staten Island on the left, Governor's Island, sorry, on the right, and Governor's Island on the left. Amazing reflections off the water down below. Down to almost 500 feet, and there's Liberty.
400. 300.
Let's take advantage of being here and go to change to midnight and come back the opposite way. So again, there's Statue of Liberty on our left, Manhattan off to the right.
500. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Which looks even better
Landing gear.
at midnight with lights on.
Overspeed.
As does the city, I think. Looks even more realistic at night than during the day. So thanks for joining me on this trip around some of the most famous sites that you can see in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We'll be doing this again in the near future. Maybe you'd like to subscribe, but if you do subscribe, please click the bell icon so you get notifications of our video uploads and scheduled live streams. But I'm Dom of Essential RC. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.